is your audience? What do you imagine when you like hear and see your comments? Like, are they Republicans? Are they maybe not even Republicans or Democrats? Are they like more like hippie-ish people? Are they people who are like in New York in the upper part? Like, who are you thinking of? Who are you making this for?
I don't have any particular demographic I target because this is for the world. So if I focus on one niche, one side, I'm excluding the other side. So this is for everybody.
Okay. So I want to ask a question of like, what would you say to your childhood self? But what I'm curious about is, would your childhood self be shocked at where you're at this point?
No, because when I was 4 years old, I told my mom I was going to change the world. So it's always been
The plan.
a part of me.
Kind of influence like how you like put your motivation. Because you are a very motivated person. I can see that obviously in your content. So I'm kind of curious where so much of like this passion comes from, and if there's again been anything to disturb
I would just say it's been intrinsic since day one. It's always been about just finding an outlet to put it towards. I remember when I was like 12 years old, I just one time just told my parents like I just have this feeling like I need to do something and just like work towards something, and if school is not enough, like I need to do something that's like building something for the world. And so I've always just needed the outlet. And so when I found the outlet, which is turning plastic into fuel, I just went full in, set my heart, my mind on it, and nothing's gonna steer me off. So it's the priority above all else.
You said like you did welding in high school, probably like what, when you're 16 or 14?
Yeah, 16 to 17 years old.
So before that, did you ever imagine like say like changing the world environmentally, like as like going somewhere or being like a martyr, or did you always know you were gonna have like an invention?
It was always going to be something. I don't know if it was always an invention per se, but yeah, I always knew that it was going to be something involving me that would just be purposeful, passionate, and it was going to change the world.
Do you have a lot of people who are against you or don't believe in you?
There's a group of people who don't believe in me, but they're super small compared to the amount of people that do. So, that's all that matters. What is helping you get further to where you need to be or closer to where you need to be is all you need to focus on.
And that group you don't have to name, but what would you like say that group is? Like not what they're politically aligned with, just like
I would say they're jealous people, because every single one of them have tried or in a similar field to this type of thing, and building what I've built is no small feat. It takes beyond even the physical skill a ton of soul power to build this and risk your life for it. And I'm the only person in the world with a machine like this. So think about it, if they wanted this, they don't have it. Instead of putting energy towards building it, because you have to really build yourself to build something like this, it's easier to try to critique or tear apart what somebody else has. But the truth is, it's kind of like, well, unless you've built something like it, what stance do you really have?
Okay, so it's never been like a group of specific people. You just think it's like people like self-doubters and like kind of like hateful, toxic people. Okay. So again, just because we're in Oregon, I feel like it's very important. What do you notice has been like kind of different in this state? Because from what I have heard from a lot of people, Oregon is weird compared to a lot of places.
I would say I noticed in Oregon, what makes it weird is just kind of like this communal feel, where like everybody almost is like, it almost feels like you're in a small town where everybody knows each other. When I was driving in Eugene, this is the first time I was in Eugene, I just kind of got that vibe of everywhere. Everybody's really kind and nice. And it's like, yeah, people are actually thinking beyond just the moment. They're thinking of, if I'm doing something, how is it going to affect my neighbor? How is it going to affect the world? How is it going to affect tomorrow? And that's something that you don't see in most places in America. Some other countries have it, but it's definitely weird for America.
You're going to measure your success. So like, again, in a way, you've already technically succeeded in making plastic diesel, plastic fuel. Not even just like a next step. Like, when will you consider yourself not necessarily done, but successful?
To be honest, I don't have a gauge for that, because like I've done what I've done, I've achieved now. Like for example, I ran the vehicle today, and internally I don't even feel close to satisfied because there's still ocean plastic. So the closest thing I could assume is when there's no more ocean plastic, no more microplastic, all plastic is turned to fuel, then I might feel satisfied. But then to me, I kind of feel like it's like on to the next thing. Like there's tons of problems we have that need to be solved, and I'm here to solve as many as I can while I'm here.
Okay, and this will be my final question. It's kind of like about where you come from. So you work in Alabama, but did you grow up in a very foresty environment? Like, have you always been around green?
I grew up in the suburbs of Georgia, so yes, because Georgia, even when you're on the interstate, trees, it's a lot like Oregon in a way. Like, if you go on the interstate in like Texas, no trees, right? New Mexico, no trees. As soon as you get into Louisiana, green trees, humongous. You know, I've done an east to west coast drive before, and that's when you notice when you're really getting in the south the amount of greenery. And then when you're in the suburbs, especially, there was a forest right behind my parents' house I go to all the time. So I've always been close to nature, and I was gardening too.
What was your family and friend group like? Were they always encouraging? Was there any times where like there's like a split, like your family didn't want you to get hurt doing this, or they were afraid that you're gonna get taken out?
Yeah, right in the beginning, my family didn't want me to even start it because, you know, I'm in their backyard. They don't want me to blow up or damage their house or their property. They didn't want me to hurt myself. So they told me no. They told me, first of all, that probably isn't possible, and no, we don't want you to do it. I did it anyway. I've always been more of a rebellious person, and, you know, eventually they started to come to pass and let me do it, and then I blew myself up, and they're like, all right, that's enough.
Okay. So they didn't expect you to succeed, but you kept going.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like,
but like they support me though. Like it's so it's just like it's kind of like fear. Like they're like, you don't want you to get hurt doing something like this, but we wish you the best with it.
No,
it's more like that. So like, of course, my mom would prefer if I did something safer, so she doesn't have to ever see me get blown up again.
Yeah.
But you know, while I'm doing it, she's putting faith in me for what I do. So yeah.
A lot of people are very negative in our lives and don't expect each other to get far. Is there like somebody you've kind of like shown up in your personal life by like your success?
No, I mean, to be honest, I've always been kind of isolated on a social level when it comes to like that type of dynamic. So, you know, I did this for myself really, because I wanted beyond all else to one day maybe have a farm and have a way to process all of my plastic waste and run equipment off of it. So it's like, that's cool. And so now it happens to be a thing for all of humanity, and here we are.